Hello, everybody. Welcome to another cartoon commentary. Joining me, as usual, is Eric from the Isle of Man. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing great, thank you.
So we were talking about Alf the other day, Alf the animated series, and you mentioned that intro for Alf reminded you of a show I've never heard of, Galaxy High. And took a look at it, and it's actually, I'll be darned, one of the best intros of any 80s cartoon. I don't know if it's better than Wheeled Warriors and Mask, but it's up there.
It's definitely up there, yeah.
It is catchy. So that's what we're looking at today. Something that just kind of popped into a conversation. Never heard of it. Never seen it before. and I'm sure that probably a lot of people out there have never seen it or heard of it. So check it out. It's around. It's on YouTube. Load it up, and we're all gonna press play at the same time so you can watch and listen along with us. Everybody ready? 3, 2, 1, play.
It starts right out too.
Literally, listen to that. The vocals.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome. So the show starts right out too. I don't believe there's an origin episode.
No, it's one of those where the intro kind of tells the whole story and sets the whole thing up. So episode 1 here basically starts when they just arrive at the school, and all the exposition is in the intro.
That's interesting. Even something like Silverhawks took a few minutes to say, okay, we've got these agents, we're going to make them cyborgs. Thundercats had, I think, like a 3 or a 5-parter establishing everything. This show just drops you right in, and it's basically the origin story is this intro we're listening to right now. Mm-hmm. Like, all the backstory is sung to you, and now as soon as the first episode starts, they're just at school. We don't see them leave Earth, say goodbye to anybody. None of that. They're just two humans
just there in
alien high school.
And as you probably saw on the title screen, written by Chris Columbus.
That's really surprising.
That's a pretty big deal. I think I don't know where this fits into his career, but I mean, this has got to be one of his first kind of higher profile kind of things that he did.
Yeah, everyone always mentions Michael Straczynski, right? J. Michael Straczynski with Ghostbusters. Hey, Eric, did you know that J. Michael Straczynski wrote some Ghostbusters?
Did he now?
He did.
You mean there was a cartoon that he had written or had something to do with?
I didn't know, but luckily 1,000 people have told me repeatedly, constantly on the internet. But I think this might be another one of those instances. Did you know that Chris Columbus wrote a cartoon in the 80s called Galaxy High? Susan Blue, familiar voice of Amy.
The inimitable Susan Blue.
Yeah, she's RC from Transformers. Very distinctive voice.
Well, this is another one of those shows too, where if you listen, it's kind of a who's who of voice actors from the 80s. I mean, there's just tons of people in it.
Yeah, Pat Frilley's there too. Ace from G.I. Joe, Marshall Bravestar. Neil Ross is in there from G.I. Joe, Shipwreck, and a whole bunch of other voices.
Nancy Cartwright.
Yeah. All-star cast. It does remind me a lot of Alf, but good. Because as big a fan of Alf as I am, I can't get through that cartoon. I love the intro of it, but man, it's too weird.
I remember really liking it when I was a kid, and after we had kind of our little discussion about it, I went back and watched it, and it's one of those that I don't think has aged quite as well as I remember.
Yeah, Melmac works as the weird place Alf references when he's on Earth. Like all of it's just better talked about than actually seen. It's just over the top weird.
But this show, what I love that it does is it launches you right into the episode and right into the school and these kids' first day there, and gives you the intro and the song and all that stuff. But they really do a good job establishing sort of this world, world building right from kind of the first scene, and kind of establishing this pecking order of the students. And I mean, it's really structured like you would think, a kind of a teen sitcom or something is. I mean, it reminds me a lot of how Saved by the Bell even would start. They just kind of intro and show which characters are really obviously getting picked on and which ones are going to be the popular ones. And I like that kind of formula that they flip it around, and kind of tell the story really quickly, set everything up, in a really efficient way.
So Doyle starts off as a real scumbag, playing a practical joke that I guess was just mean back in the day, but as a lot of things have drastically changed and things have not aged well. Looking back at his teasing of Amy, he immediately comes off as a real jerk.
Yeah. Well, it certainly kind of portrays that kind of jock popular ego,
Especially
and
since, as the Bible predicted, the geek have inherited the earth. Was that a typo? The meek, the geek. And I think that type of bullying of geeks and nerds is not just not tolerated anymore, but it'll get you killed in some circles.
Well, I don't know what high school's like anymore. And I know a lot of the kids I know that are today that are in high school still. It seems like the kind of popularization and kind of I don't know, mass market infiltration of geek culture. I mean, I'm sure kids still get picked on and all that stuff, but it might even be worse because of social media. But I would go so far as it doesn't feel like it would be the same as when we were in school. At least not in terms of hierarchy like it was, but I could be very wrong. I don't know.
Well, with all the woke stuff and the respect of pronouns and all that
Mhm.
stuff, and you do you would hope that it's more tolerant and understanding and more empathy, but I don't know. I just get the feeling it's more of a meat grinder, that people,
Mhm.
bullies are darker and more sinister than ever, just because
Well,
they have more technology at their
yeah.
disposal.
I know cyberbullying is a big problem, but what I love here is how they're showing, with all the alien kids, and there's obviously the archetypes of the different types of characters, like the
Right.
airhead who's literally an airhead, and the school flirt here, and that kind of thing, and the gossip queen, it's I
Yeah.
love how they kind of portray that.
It's kind of
Um,
like Star Trek in a sense. It's
yeah.
it's what Roddenberry did with his early
Mhm.
Trek scripts, right? Oh, you don't want to buy the script? What if I put it in space? And that's what they've kind of done here. They've taken Saved by the Bell and put it in space.
Yeah.
And this predates Saved by the Bell, I think, by a couple of years.
Yeah, I think at least.
Aren't they sweet?
Yeah, sweet. Real sweet.
Attention all students.
But I remember this on my, I would say, even top 5 kind of Saturday morning cartoons that I watched kind of back in the day. And this was 86. So it was kind of in that prime space where I was probably pretty much exactly the age. This was targeted toward, I think I was like 10 or 11. And I remember really liking the show.
Man, yeah, I have no memory of this at all.
Mhm.
Just going to run down a quick list of writing credits for Chris Columbus, the writer-creator of the show. For people who aren't familiar with him, Gremlins, Goonies, Galaxy High, Goonies 2, the video game, I guess, Gremlins 2, the new batch, Christmas Chronicles Part 2. He's working on Gremlins 3. Looks like he worked on Mrs. Doubtfire. Man, he's got a huge filmography.
Yeah.
Basically, kind of like a very in the vein of Steven Spielberg, that type of fun family movie guy.
Yeah, and he directed the first, I think, 2 Harry Potter movies.
Oh, right, Harry Potter as
Yeah.
well. Yes.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Might I say that you have an awful lot to learn. Well, I'm sure there are plans in the files for both of you. Let's take a look. Blackboard?
I love how everything's sort of anthropomorphic too. It's it's a robot or something, but
Yeah.
the blackboard is this thing, just like the locker was, and all these little parts they can add characterization to. It's really cool.
Reminds me of Mike the TV from Reboot.
Mm. One of the other things that kind of, once it's pretty obvious, but one of the other kind of famous contributors to this is John Quickfalusi of Ren and Stimpy fame. He did the character design for the show.
Yeah,
So you can really kind of see that, and some of the alien
is
kids and stuff.
zany and off the wall, that type of style.
The
laziness, you will have to take a part-time job at Luigi's Lunar Pizza Parlor.
A part-time job?
Teenagers don't want to work no matter what galaxy they're in.
Scholarship?
Did you hear that, folks? He wants a scholarship with those grades.
Man, this is wild. I love discovering things that not new things that are made to feel authentically old, but things that actually existed back then and just slipped through the cracks. And this show right here, 13 episodes. It's like discovering buried treasure because it's authentic to the time. It's untouched. I mean, even something brand new like Stranger Things, which feels so genuine, still has a little bit of modern sprinkle in it to make sure it appeals to modern audiences. And you get to hear the old cast too.
Yeah, it's got a little anachronism here and there. This was one of those, though. It's like this, and one of my other favorites of the same era was Mighty Orbots. That's another one you got to check out if you've never seen.
Yeah.
But I would call them, until maybe recently with YouTube. You know, you've started seeing reviews to some of the old shows that a lot of YouTubers are doing, but I would have called them kind of hidden gems. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just not things that a lot of people saw. Most of them were the things that were on like for one season, like Mighty Orbots and this. And, you know, I think the Back to the Future cartoon that was out around the same time was kind of the same. I think it was on for like 1, maybe 2 seasons or something like that. But it's stuff that just a lot of people have missed.
Man, everything does move on this. Like I'm expecting the pipes to start talking to him here, the floor to go, hey. Take it easy up there. Giant pink alien dog. It is so similar to Alf and just the weirdness and zaniness of the design. But just the animation's better. I am not a fan of the company that did the Alf cartoon. And anything that company has done, it's just something about the art and the motion never really appealed to me.
Yeah, the animation really in this one, even, you know, because intros were always done well because it was what they wanted to suck the kids that were watching it in with and make them watch. But really, the animation's outstanding in this show. I mean, even just the animation of Doyle running down the hall and skidding up the wall and things like that, just really well done.
Yeah, this dog that can grow. He can Hulk out. Got a Hulk dog. Now you would think this would be disastrous for the facility, but why do I get the feeling they just have drains everywhere and it's just Tuesday?
Yeah.
Learn about plumbing. He's still the best garbage.
It's kind of funny in a way. You know, you can see how Chris Columbus handled the idea of a fantasy or a very strange school, and how he kind of did the same in the Harry Potter movies that he directed. And you can kind of almost see an influence or a style there that he's kind of going to, this idea that this weirdness is normality and all that stuff.
You know, that's my kind of prequel, not a literal connected story prequel, but seeing what a guy who went on to have a very prolific career cut his teeth on. And you can't really do that with Straczynski. You can't go back and watch Real Ghostbusters and say, yeah, I can see where Babylon 5, you know, there's no connection, but definitely there's a connection between this and Harry Potter.
Yeah. It's kind of like how, you know, Baz Luhrmann has sort of the what do they call it? The like the trilogies he's done that are sort of similarly themed movies, but they really don't necessarily have anything to do with each other. Kind of same sort of idea. I think Tarantino has the unofficial Tarantino trilogy. I can't remember what they call them.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah,
the ones that just they take place in the same universe, but they're not necessarily. You don't need to watch them in order or all of them at all.
Yeah,
either. Dollar's trilogy is one of the tops on my list for that type of thing.
And by the way, I do know what the Tarantino's trilogy is called, but it's not kid safe. So,
and, you know, Bill's watching with his kids, so
yeah,
that's why we don't swear here.
And only I know the combination. Why do you think we call him the creep?
That's handy. I want an extra pair of 2 extra pairs of arms. Coming handy at the buffet. Yeah, this is so Harry Potter where everything talks and moves in Harry Potter. You know, the Sorting Hat talks.
Hey, Hal!
Although, I mean, he got all that right from the book, J.K. Rowling's book. But but I don't know. Maybe he gave them a copy of Galaxy Eye and said, "Hey, I'm the right man for the job."
Yeah. Well, that's really the same thing. It has a lot in common, really, because it's, you know, fish out of water kind of a audience surrogate kind of stories where you're learning this stuff along with the main characters, and you know, it's surprising, and you're seeing their reactions and their shock to what's going on, and kind of getting at the same time. It really works in the same sort of capacity as the Harry Potter movies, really.
Yeah. So the French fries are even alive?
That's horrifying.
Oh man.
In this world, the chips eat you.
Let me translate for the North Americans. Chips is French fries.
Sorry, I'm getting anglicized over here.
I wish we called it chips over here.
Mm.
And potato chips referred to as crisps.
Yes.
Seems to fit better.
Eisenstein, these aren't French fries. This is my friend. Your friend?
These aren't French fries. This is my friend.
That should be on a t-shirt.
He fell into the French fryer. And you put
I
him
like this
back
voice actor
together.
here.
I can't remember who that is, but it's so familiar. You know, it's just one of those that I remember hearing.
What's the character's name?
Let me look for it again. It's
Milo?
Is it Milo?
He has to keep his classroom cold or he'll melt.
Yeah, it's one of those that I remember hearing all over on cartoons. That's got to be a cush job, though, really, being a voice actor. I mean, it's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of performance. And I've read before that in a way, being a voice actor is a more pure way of performing as an actor, because you're relying entirely on your, you know, vocal intonation and you know, the way you're emphasizing things. And but I mean, think of a job like that where you could roll up. You don't need makeup. You don't need, you need 6 hours putting on prosthetics to be this alien character. You know, you can roll up, check out the script, do some read throughs, and go for it. You know.
Yeah. Well, the famous story of Peter Cullen walking into the booth for Predator and just doing some clicking sounds and telling him to get the heck out. You did nothing. And then when they actually listened to it back carefully, they went, "Oh my gosh, that's brilliant." That
I just heard that.
It's Peter Cullen doing that. And they were expecting big, nasty, monstrous squeals and screams, and instead to the director it seemed like he was doing nothing. He was just scratching his butt. And they kicked him out. And so when they played it back and listened to it carefully, they're like, wow. And that seems like not a lot of work for what you would hope is a lot of money. But I bet you any high-paying gig that doesn't take a lot of work, it gets you back in some other way. Whether it's stress, anxiety of when's the next gig, or did I do okay, or how long is this going to last, or just the pressure, you know, it bombed, it's your fault. They'll get you one way or another.
Yeah. Well, it seems like a pretty small fraternity too, you know, people that are doing it.
She cleans up nice.
Well, that's the funny part. It's one of those characters that's supposed to be the geek and everything like that, and she's so cute looking.
She looks fine to begin with,
yeah. I love that joke. I think it was High School Movie. Did you see that one where it's, you know, the really pretty girl and you know, they're joking about it. I can't hurt. She's a geek. She wears glasses. Yeah. The reference to the
yeah. I really like the vibe of the show. It's good spirited. It is very Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Blue.
I can't not hear RC when I hear that voice. At first I thought it was Lady J, because same kind of scratchy voice. But no, it's Susan Blue. She's a great director herself.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this place is cracking. There's a pig? It's like a daisy pig. What is that? Oh, there's
What is it?
something
Play on
living on
anchovies or something?
There's something alive on everything. Everything's alive here.
Hey, what's the matter for you, Earth boy?
It's like Yosemite Sam.
Some sort of weird parody of Chef Boyardee or something.
Hard. He work fast.
He got a 6 of arms.
Man, you make a lot of money doing piecework, that guy.
And Patty Pluto had to give up pepperoni pizza platters, and she gained so much weight she had to buy a whole new wardrobe.
Amy?
God, that voice of the gossip character almost sounds like oh no, I guess it is Nancy Carr. Yeah, okay. I already said it. It's like it sounds a little like Bart Simpson.
She's getting her green skin.
We asked for extra cheese. Take it back.
More cheese. I don't get it, Milo.
Yeah, Milo was played by David Lander, who was on Laverne and Shirley. He was Squiggy.
That's where the voice came from.
Lenny and Squiggy, yeah.
You've been ignoring me ever since we got here.
You asked me to leave you alone, remember?
Out of my way, Earth boy.
Pretty much his biggest role there. Yeah. Also, he was Doc Boy on the Garfield show. John Arbuckle's brother.
Challenge him to a game of Zaggle Ball. Yeah, then you can humiliate.
There's also like Tick vibes in this show as well, although not as dry and sarcastic, but over the top, fun weirdness.
Zuggle ball? I think on Earth you call it hooky. That's hockey. Yes, only
Now this should be where he shines because he's the former, kind of
Jock.
jock at school. Let's see.
Right. It's kind of a superpower.
Doyle versus Beef. And the question on everyone's lips, who will score the 3-point
You can really see the John Kricfalusi influence in a lot of the stuff. It's
the
crazy.
whole school?
win this game and you're in. But watch out for Beef. He's a dirty player.
And taking the field is the
Beef.
Roland.
Oh no, he cheats.
And he's carrying the Suggle.
Let's play. Come on.
The what?
The Sluggle? Is that what it said?
Yeah, it's not a puck. What? Everything's alive on this show. Is the stick alive?
Yeah. It's kind of like the golden
Oh.
snitch.
Right. Exactly. Wow. Yeah, the Harry Potter comparisons never end here. This is
I
quite
guess
interesting.
This is like the first unofficial version of Quidditch, I guess.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what else they did with this. If it was just a 13-episode run, or if there was like a little more to this, like a comic maybe, or
I think it was a comic. I think they turned it into a comic after the TV run finished.
okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully true to the show, not like an R-rated Dark Horse.
Yeah.
After graduation, everything changed. The war descended upon. The Empire invaded.
Well, they were supposedly trying to make a live action version of this up until like the mid 90s, I think.
Really?
And it just never got off the ground, which I'm kind of surprised by, given, Chris Columbus and his kind of stature in Hollywood, how many high profile projects he's gone to do. I don't know if it's still kind of considered or what.
Totally doable with all the CGI green screening they can do now. It used to be, how would you do it? And now it's like this. I mean, this is your storyboard basically.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, Doyle. You were terrific.
Thanks.
It looks like you're a big man on campus
I
again.
guess they have a budding romance throughout the show. Did you see all the episodes back in the original run?
I know I've seen them all at some point. And I'd like to say that I saw them all, but I mean, this is probably the first time I've watched a full episode in quite a long time.
I just wonder as the show goes on if if they get a shine on for each other and if they ever get home. Like,
Yeah.
what is the deal here? Did they come by their own free will?
Well, they're
or are
like
they-
they're like exchange students. That's the
Okay,
idea.
that's
So
good.
yeah, and I can't remember if they ever go back home or not, but I think they kind of play on that kind of will they, won't they sort of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, developed by Chris Columbus, creative consultant Chris Columbus.
Yeah, that was
Don
great.
Felder, I guess, did that fantastic theme.
Larry DiTillo of He-Man fame. Awesome. Yeah, the cross-pollination of all the different animated shows is just awesome back in
Yeah.
the day. So cool to find a completely new show I've never heard of, and then to see so many familiar faces attached to it. That's an extra little bonus.
Yeah, and it was one that neither J. Michael Straczynski or Christy Marks wrote. One of the very few. Neither of them had anything to do with it.
Did you know Chris Columbus wrote this? That's going to be the new. Did you know J. Michael Straczynski worked on Ghostbusters?
There you go.
Well, thanks for throwing that out there. That was fun. I'm glad we got to actually sit down and go through that together, and let some folks out there know about it too, because I've never heard it talked about, mentioned, reviewed anywhere. So this might be a first for a lot of people.
Yeah, and well, I'm glad to have something I could show you that you were unfamiliar with this time. So.
Well, there's still a few things out there. Yeah, and that's what's been really cool about being a YouTubeist. I just watched The Shootist with John Wayne, and I was like, that's awesome that he referred to himself as a shootist instead of a shooter. I'm gonna do that. YouTubeist. I mean, artist, right? You're an artist, not an arter. So
yeah.
And it's been fun being a commentatist for this cartoon. So yeah, check it out. It's on YouTube. Official release. Don't hold your breath. Actually, there might be like an official release on one of the YouTube channels.
There could be, or there's quite possibly. I don't know if it's available. Like, what is it? Shout Factory, I think, does a lot of the old cartoons and stuff. It could very well be available somewhere. I don't know. I've never actually looked for it, so
you never know. Like, there's some YouTube channels that put these up, and they're great quality, and it seems like that channel actually owns the rights to it. But sometimes the name of it has nothing to do with the show. It's not like Brave Star Official with Brave Star episodes. It's more like Highliner Entertainment, and then there's the cartoon is on that channel. Like, do you own the rights, or what's the deal here?
Yeah, well, I've seen now. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. There are sets of them of what would appear Volume 1 and Volume 2, which I think they must be just for the one season on eBay. Whether or not they're like legit copies, or if they're kind of one of those Comic-Con under the table sort of editions, I can't tell you, but they looks like it's all official, authentic Region 1, whatever, from Anime Works. Okay, well, so it's from a company, who knows.
I like to call it top grade fan made. That Tick Blu-ray that I got. You picked one of those up too, right?
I tried. They wouldn't send. I ordered it once, and then they canceled the order, and then I ordered it again, and there's actually service that you can over here called Ship to Man, where you can get it sent to England, and then they bring it over here in the boat and give it to you. But they ended up not sending it there either. So the next step, I think I'm just gonna have it sent to my mom's house or something like that. I'll grab it sometime.
Okay. Well, that Blu-ray ended up being like, is this official? But it's top quality. It's incredible.
Yeah,
HD,
that's great.
like legitimate HD quality, not just blown up DVD.
Yeah.
So, it's like, this looks too good to just be top grade fan made. This looks like it's official, but it's like, why isn't it more widely available than just Ernie in Nevada or whoever is selling it?
West Coast Video. Yeah, that was the thing. Do you remember like back in the day at cons, and I think they basically kind of kicked them all out, but they used to have those vendors there that had like the tapes and the really bad covers, and it looked like something decidedly more illicit, but it was like seasons 1 through 4 of the Star Trek animated series or something like that, or whatever. And it was always like stuff that you could tell was like videotaped off a TV, and it was like really awful quality. And then for a while it was DVDs when DVDs came out, but it was really very obviously non-official stuff, and it was kind of hard to find stuff. You don't see those anymore anywhere.
No, I mean, people, even with their fan stuff, that you can print it out, the labels on the DVD, you can do your own cover in Photoshop and print it out on glossy paper. It's top grade fan made. I mean,
Yeah.
that's original form. So plug your Instagram, Uncle Deluxe Art.
Thank you.
You've got sketches on there and some model work and paint stuff on there as well. So check that out, folks.
I pop crafting stuff up there now and then. I haven't been quite as active as I had for a while, but some fun stuff still surfaces once in a while. So.
And thanks everyone out there for watching and listening along. Hope you enjoy this and hope you enjoy this show. And if you did, there's 12 more episodes to find out the fate of the intergalactic foreign exchange students.
That's great. It's good fun. I can promise you that. You'll have a good time watching.
Take care, everyone. Nerdmas Day.
Nerdmas Day.